yes, you're pregnant. Because what it is, if you get it after they've put it, I think if you get it earlier on in the IVF journey, it doesn't necessarily mean you're pregnant. If you get it after, it basically gets bad because your HCG hormone triggers it and makes it bad. So she was like, you have HCG running through your body a big time.
Well, so and especially carrying twins, so it would have been
now it all makes sense. Like when we got our HCG levels, it was like through the roof. I was like, what? And now we know why. Yeah, so I knew I was pregnant basically from having loads of water retention, and then they did a blood test and they told us. So it was like a week, or maybe not a week, but a few days before my intended
But that's
test.
hard, isn't it? Because then hearing that gives you so much hope and expectation.
Yeah.
So even in those bits, were you allowing yourself to go, it's happening?
Well, so it was all in one day. So they did the scan and they said, you're going to be pregnant.
Yeah.
The nurse was like, you just wouldn't be swollen like this. I was like, yeah, but you don't know. And then this lovely doctor came out. They did a blood test and we sat there all day, honestly, for like 6-7 hours. And I remember the room, I remember everything. And she walked through and she went, yeah, you're pregnant. And I just fell onto the floor. Very dramatic. It's very unlike me, actually, to be that dramatic. But I just couldn't believe it. I was like, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? She went, your HCG levels are, I think they had to be 50 and they were 250.
Right.
And she was like, you're pregnant. I'm like, you are really pregnant. And then I said, can I do a test? She was like, you can do a test, but it will be positive because you're pregnant. So yeah, I went back and did a test and I was like, because also all those, months and months, a year and a half of just getting negatives all the time.
And you get to know, you feel every symptom in your body and every twinge or anything that happens, you're constantly going, is it? The amount of things that I Googled. And then when actually I did get pregnant, it felt so different to anything that I'd experienced before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like you just trick yourself. I remember when I was trying because obviously coming on your period is sometimes quite similar. You feel a bit nauseous or a bit of cramping, or it's just so hard to know, isn't it?
If anything, actually, early days of my pregnancies, I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, I think I was a bit like that.
And I was like, well, I'm going to do a test, but I'm not going to be. I think I've basically been like that for all three.
Wow.
Yeah.
And were all three of yours pretty smooth to get there?
So I had a miscarriage my first pregnancy, and then Buzz, it took a while. So I was on metformin and Clomid.
Okay.
Buddy happened super quickly.
Okay.
And then Max was a happy surprise.
Yay!
Yeah, so it's kind of that. And I think for me, because it all started with a loss, I feel like the pregnancies were probably, I carried a lot of fear throughout the pregnancies, having had that first experience, and it didn't even go the third time around, it was still there.
Yeah.